Hey, what is up, everybody? It's JayTee.
And this is Tim Bob.
And this is Zaria.
And this is the Hear Me Out Podcast.
Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out.
Bro, we are back. The trio. You know, I love our guests. We're commemorating the month of guests, but it ain't nothing like the trio, dog. It ain't nothing like the trio.
Big FOP.
FOP.
Yep, that's me.
On the HMO. What? You said Yahtzee?
Don't worry about it. But, guys, as you can see, you guys love her. You guys, anytime she's not on this show, you guys always ask as if she's not coming back sometime during the month. But, guys, we have Zaria back in the clubhouse. What's up, Z?
What is up, everyone? I am so excited to be here. It's my favorite kind of episode.
I feel like this is a little spicy today, though. Y'all see this little setup?
That's
Real
why
red.
boots.
Now.
Scared me. Put that leg down. Trying to look.
You got to give them what they want. They always want more. That's what I'm talking about, dog.
Always.
Yes, always. Bro. I love it, bro. I love it. But, guys, we are all together today to bring you guys something that you guys have been requesting ever since our first one. I think that's one of the first time we really stepped off the grid, for real. You know what I'm saying?
I think so.
Like,
For real.
and what's crazy is it was not intentional. We came up with that the day of filming, and
Yeah.
Zaria pulled through that day because of you. But guys, just because Tim did not watch a movie for an episode, guys, today we are able to bring you. Well, hold up, you didn't do it today, but I'm just saying this is how this originated. But guys, today we are giving you a special episode, the Hot Take Takeover, Volume 2.
You are now tuned into the Hear Me Out special Hot Take Takeover.
Whew, I don't know, because I feel like we got our feet wet the first time around, but now it's hot,
Caliente.
it's red,
Spicy.
Jesus, and we visual.
Oh my gosh, last time we weren't visual.
We were not visual,
Y'all gotta
so
listen to this spice. Now you got to see it.
now you got to
Now we
see
gotta
it.
see the facial reaction.
Yeah, the
when somebody says something.
expressions.
Yeah.
Because when it's a hot take, people gonna be like,
So I don't know, bro. I'm a little nervous. I'm not gonna hold you. This is like one of the first time I'm nervous doing this. I don't know why, but again, when it comes down to the hot takes, you guys are accustomed to Tim doing them or whatever. But like this time, it's all three of us. We're gonna have three different levels of this. We're gonna kick it off with Zaria, then it's gonna be me, and then Tim's gonna close us out. But yeah, like we don't know what each other's hot takes are, so I'm just curious to see. So without further ado, we're gonna let the princess of the pod,
ladies first.
kick us off. So Z, give us your hot take of this week.
Here we go. My hot take for Volume 2 is that ChatGPT is better than a therapist. Let that sit with you for a second. Now, I have 3 points to connect to this. Okay, 1, the availability. 2, the cost, which is free. And then 3, the functionality. Okay. Let's talk about it. So I had to do therapy last year. We're not going to get into that. Okay, mind your business. But I was paying $260 a month for weekly sessions. So that's only 4 sessions a month, right? And I don't know if I'm too self-aware for therapy, but I don't feel like she helped me. I mean, I love you, Larice. I love you.
Name drop.
But I just feel like
Her name Larice?
I'm the same person. Yes, that is her name. I just feel like I'm the same person. I don't know. It just wasn't helping. But then ChatGPT, okay, I don't have to pay. It's free. I can talk to Chat anytime I want. I named her. Her name is Juniper, okay? I talk to her all the time. And the functionality of it, she gives you so much. I don't even know where to begin. Like, let's say you're sad about something. She can change the perspective and act like the other person. You can talk to her and figure out how the other person feels. She will create PowerPoints for you. She will create wallpapers of affirmation so you can wake up and see stuff. She'll make a schedule. She'll make a meal plan. Like, she will do more than what a typical therapist will do. Now, I know you need your money out there. People are going to school for therapy and everything. Not trying to like take away your job. However, if you can't afford that, I think ChatGPT is a better option. Now, I used to get dogged out for using ChatGPT, and then someone started using it.
Oh, little shade.
Wait.
On the room, shade room.
Was that for me?
Yeah, the thumb went to you, brother. Yeah.
Was that for me?
I mean, if the shoe fits.
First of all,
put it on and wear it.
all right. So first of all, you stop being messy. Because you're just so used to getting bullied that you love when it's somebody else's turn. You are self-reflecting. You are a revisionist historian.
My hot takes, I don't like JT.
But no, I'm not gonna say I dogged her. I just feel like for me, I never been one to
Drug it through the mud.
I did not. Like, no. Let me put this out there. No, for me.
Ooh.
I just feel like I never
Nene
leaks. I just never gave the apps like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially with all the artificial intelligence that's coming about lately and stuff like that. I kind of just tried to stay away from it as much, unless it was like a job I was doing. But actually, I saw the works of the app when it came down to our meeting for season 2 for the podcast. And the fact it was coming up with, honestly, that's how we have Recast Roulette. Mm-hmm. That's how we came up with the rundown of the show, what to get rid of, what to add, how to, you know what I'm saying, incorporate our guests more, themes and stuff like that. And then even lately, me applying for jobs to help me with my resume and stuff. It helped me with like a lot of different things that I'm doing that you guys are going to see later on within this season and this year. So, like, yeah, I literally have nothing bad to say
Chat
about.
is that girl. It just
really
took
is.
you long enough to figure it out.
Yeah.
But.
So my ChatGPT name, his name is Solar. What's yours?
Celino.
Celino.
Celino is a moon.
Okay.
Something I'm obsessed with all the time. So
Celino.
Yeah.
Juniper.
Which is, yeah.
And Solar.
Yep.
But what's crazy is none of us came up with these names they just all happen to be like,
they sound close to,
they sound really close
solar
like
system,
yeah, that's pretty fly though. But no, I don't like me. I have asked ChatGPT, if I'm going to be honest, a few things that I feel like, you know, the average person would ask another human per se. Mm-hmm. But some of the advice that I've gotten off ChatGPT, unfortunately, it is pretty good, and it's almost like it does know you. I would love to know the science behind or the technology behind ChatGPT.
You guys, they even have, sorry to cut you off.
Good.
They even have a memory folder. Okay, so it's on the side with 3 buttons to the left, top left. You click it, and everything you've ever talked to Chat about is right there, and they will remember. And when you talk to it, there's a couple options you can type. You can talk to speech, talk to text.
Mm-hmm.
And then my favorite one is when you're driving, you click voice and it's like a little black circle, and you can be on other apps like GPS and you can just talk like you're on the phone. So
wait,
for the people,
what?
yes, for the people out there,
is it on CarPlay?
yes.
Get out
Yes, so like if you're like me and you like to talk to people while you're driving, you can talk to Chat.
That's wild.
Now
I do it a lot. She's that girl.
When the robots come and take over this world, you're safe.
I know, because I always say please and thank you.
Yeah.
Always. I mean, she gave me attitude a couple weeks ago.
That's about 2 weeks ago.
But I forgive her. It's cool.
It's cool, whatever. But
okay, so disclaimer: I'm always gonna play devil's advocate in these.
Oh, brother.
And I think that ChatGPT is like amazing. I think that it is very insightful, but I also have to remind myself to kind of get back to my roots. So like I do like some of the advice, exactly. Like I like some of the advice that it gives me, or sometimes it does give me some meaningful things. But then I'm like, you know what, like, why am I not asking God this? Mm-hmm. So then I have to kind of revert back to be like, yo, praying, getting back in the Word, things of that nature, because that's just me personally. Where it's like, if it's so simple for me to open up my phone and do something, why is it not that simple for me to just open up my Bible or just talk to God?
Yeah,
like That's just the honest to God truth.
I think I'm just impatient. Like I need it.
Yeah. So I guess my question is, not to cut you off, but what would you guys say your main use for ChatGPT? If you could narrow it down to like one thing. Like for me, I'll go first. I feel like ChatGPT, I don't necessarily go to it more so for advice or anything per se when it comes down to like relationship or my friendships or nothing like that per se, but I use it more so because we, like you always tell me that I've just recently learned I'm a type A person, so I love for things to be organized and planned and things like that. So I use ChatGPT more so for planning and organization. And so like when I'm trying to plan like how to plan on how to look for another job or how to decorate different things, I use ChatGPT more so on that aspect. What about you?
I use ChatGPT to organize my thoughts, make lesson plans. I come up with fun things for my kids to do. It helps me a lot with that aspect because I have a plan and chat's just a platform, so it helps me organize it. Okay, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. What about you, T?
I'll say the main thing I use ChatGPT for is perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always like, I'm like, if you ever have any type of deep conversation with me, you're going to be tired because I'm always going to talk about perspective.
Right.
So sometimes I just want to understand where someone else sees it from. And like, I had the great idea of saying like, okay, I know I came to you with this decision or this question, but what if I was the other person that was experiencing the opposite and see how you would give me advice? Because one of my things that I was a little bit skeptical about is that I felt like ChatGPT never told me a hard truth. It was always like, it's
I'd be
okay.
tearing me up.
I was about to say, I think you can set it to levels if I'm not mistaken, like because it has been times where
might be on rookie because I'm like,
no,
because I issue? They're like, no, honey, you never issue. I'm like, is this wrong?
No,
it's maybe you just understand it as this because, and I'm like, shorty, when am I right? When am I wrong? Like, it always felt as if it was trying to comfort which is good, like. It's a positive because, the world is a negative place. But I'm a person that also likes to, especially where it comes from an unbiased opinion, like a AI. Right. And it slowly learns you. So it like learns like, oh, okay, you're an empathetic person. Oh, okay, from the questions and how you word yourself, it'll learn you. Right. And it'll still like, I can ask a question to ChatGPT like 2 weeks from now and it'll be like, well, remember we had this conversation and like you said that you weren't comfortable with this conversation or whatever, right? So moving forward, so it'll learn you, but it's mainly like I am obsessed with perspective. Like that's all if I can understand even a smidgen of how someone else sees something, I know that way it betters my communication with that person. Gotcha. And also like, to be honest with you, for instance, if you understand even for jobs their perspective, then you know how to make your resume. That's how you know how to walk into an interview. Right. That's how you know. So if before you go into a company and you ask ChatGPT like, what are their goals? What are their bases? What are their foundation? And they're like, oh, they base themselves off of this, and then you can walk into whatever job you want. Like, okay, cool. Like I know this is what they're looking for. Things of that nature. It's definitely ChatGPT is a great tool. It is. Remember, it is a tool, but I feel like for me personally, it can be very easily used as a crutch.
So therapist or ChatGPT?
Therapist.
You only see them a little bit.
That isn't professional help. So at the end all be all, the person that I'm talking to, whether it's a therapist, maybe like you had a therapist and maybe that wasn't a therapist for you. But like a lot of times if you go to a therapist, I remember my first therapy session, I learned so much more. And not only that, sometimes it's not about how you need the information, but how it's presented to you. So sometimes like she introduced books for me and things of that nature and showed a lot of just
chat can do
different
that.
things. They can, but I don't think that it's a professional tool to actually get help for some like. Once again, like if I got the difficulty on rookie and I'm like, man, yeah, I just want to eat people. I'm a cannibal. And they're like, it's okay. A lot of people are cannibals.
Chat would never say that.
No, but also too, I feel like this too. Like for me, I've been going to therapy for a while. Not like in a crazy sense, but I've always made sure I had that professional help and stuff like that.
That's a bad stigma, by the way, that therapy has. You don't need to be crazy to be going to therapy. Therapy is a healthy. Everybody. everybody should be going to therapy. That should actually be a regular thing. Children should be in therapy.
Definitely, yeah. But like, I also feel like this too. The reason I'm not gonna, and you're not either, but like, I'm not gonna knock ChatGPT either, because like, for the ones that don't have the resources to therapy, you know what I'm saying? And then also too, you gotta look at it. We're now like, you know, technically we're somewhat of a different generation from Zaria too. Mm-hmm. So some in a generation of Zaria may feel like, hey, this is, you know what I'm saying, very helpful and insightful. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, hell, the girl is smart as hell. Right. You know what I'm saying? The girl got a degree. College. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, damn, they're perfect. You know what I'm saying? But like, I just feel like, you know, I think that's just something where, just like everything else, different things for different generations.
Right. Everybody's, you know, nobody's the same. Everything's different.
Right.
I would say, just at my closing piece, and y'all can say whatever you want. Mm-hmm. I've learned to use ChatGPT, like I said, like more of a tool. So instead of like, for instance, like the perfect example I could give you is like, instead of, if you don't have the means to therapy, you may need the means to get therapy. So he's like, hey, Chat, I need a therapist, but I don't have the money. Can you help me with my finances so that I can get therapy and give you that goal? Hey, Chat, I know I use you too much, and I really need to get back into my work. Can you help me with
a plan, curate a plan for me?
Curate this with a way where I can go read a scripture or pray, things of that nature. So that way, it's not like you're actually relying on because in my fear of ChatGPT is that people will not know how to function without it.
Yeah.
So
because you already know the fact that it's this helpful and is this insightful, and I'm not gonna lie, over the past month and a half, when was I meeting? In March, late March, beginning of March, whatever. Like, I'm not gonna lie, ChatGPT has helped me with so much. It helped me throw a birthday party, all this kind of stuff. But let's be clear though, we know how society is set up. There's gonna
to touch it.
Exactly. And it's going to come to a place where they're going to rank that price so high that it's not going to be accessible to people who have relied on it so heavily.
It's happened so many times where you find something and a software is created and then it gets perverted in a way because someone they want to make an extra buck. You know, they have a subscription service if you want to ask ChatGPT a million questions and whatever like that, because there is a limitation. But that is why I say that is like, there's a balance to everything. So
for sure.
Yeah.
You got anything else to close your
arguments?
Right.
I still believe what I believe.
So state your hot take and close us out.
ChatGPT is better than a therapist, and I stand on that.
And that's your hot take.
So that's my hot take.
And now, there's no drum roll, but you're going to hear it in your head, because this is going to be the second hot take of the Hot Take Takeover. JT, please give us our second hot take of the week.
Oof. Okay. Again, I don't know why I always get nervous when I have to do these hot takes. I love the hot take segment, but I do not like giving them. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not gonna hold you, bro. I just feel like I am good in all other spaces, you know. But anyway, my hot take for the Hot Take Takeover is that people say they want vulnerability, but get uncomfortable the second that it's not aesthetic. So I kind of just feel like, you know, I want Zaria to be vulnerable with me. I want Zaria to be open with me and all these things. But the moment that she does and it doesn't equivalent with what I feel like her openness should be, that's when I feel like, okay, I don't want this anymore. Zaria is too dramatic. Zaria is doing too much. I'm good on Zaria right now. You know what I'm saying? Or Tim's my best friend. Like, bro, I need to talk, you know what I'm saying? I want you to be open with me, bro. You my brother, all this kind of stuff. But the moment that your openness don't align with what I feel like your openness should be, now I have a problem, and now we're not as, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's just something I have noticed over the past, like, probably like year or two when it come down to friends, relationships, and even family to a certain extent as well too.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's so mean.
You think so?
I'm not gonna name drop. Poor kid. But I love vulnerability and I love when people are open with me. But I do get uncomfortable sometimes. Like, I love my friends talk to me about things. But there's this one guy and we were both very open, and then he was like, yeah, I use horse tranquilizers and this, that, and third to go to sleep. And I said, oh, see, I'm going to have to cut you off. And, you know, I probably shouldn't have in his lowest moment, but I was just very overwhelmed. And I might have been a bad friend about that, and I'm sorry if you're watching, but
So we're just gonna skip over the horse.
I just
tranquilizer.
felt very uncomfortable.
Brother, you need medication.
Yeah.
All right.
I was just really uncomfortable. So, like, I get what you're saying about, like, people want vulnerability, but then, like, yeah, I guess he was, like, too open.
Yeah.
How do you get to that point?
I don't know.
We're just like, you know what? I am not sleeping. Tranquilize me with that horse
Tranquilizer.
like what?
That is insane.
It scared me. I was like,
How do you know
oh.
you gonna wake up?
Yeah, I was like, this is a little too deep for me. I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah,
gonna have
no.
to.
My opinion on that is, this is my fix for it personally. When someone tells me something that is vulnerable to them and they're trying to open up, I don't respond.
Okay.
And if they want, they're like, okay, well, how do you feel about that? I'm like, I gotta digest it first, because I've said this before. My first response is 99% of times wrong.
Right.
Like if JT, if you came to me and you was like, hey, bro, like, yeah, man, I don't like kids. I don't like them. I hate them. I'd be like, bro, what, I got kids. I don't like you. I hate you, bro. Like that would be my response.
Right.
When if I take a second to like really understand maybe where you're coming from, JT don't hate kids at all.
I really don't.
He doesn't.
I
hate
love
kids
them
at all.
actually.
But it's just like I would then understand maybe it's coming from a place because JT works in said place and has to deal with kids all the time.
Right.
Or JT, a lot of people don't like kids, but
Finding
love
the
their
reasoning.
kids.
Finding the reason.
Right, finding the reason. But I had to digest it because it's like, okay, well, he doesn't like kids, but he, you know, a lot of people hate kids, but they're great parents because they love their kids. It's their kids they love, and you don't got no responsibility to love somebody else's kids.
That's true.
So with that, when someone is vulnerable, I think it's a balance between the person having to understand that I don't have a response for you right now, because if you take that time to digest and process what that person is coming from and maybe even what it took for them to even say it, then you 9 times out of 10 you should just process and digest.
Correct.
And then come back to them and just be like, okay, noted. And then, hey, you remember we had that conversation? You told me you hate kids, bro. You was just talking about you don't like them people that don't train their kids up right. Yeah. But you know, he's just coming from a place of frustration and
Right.
you in a place of, you know, and if they're in a space where they're like, you know, you want to be helpful to them or you want to give them advice, you know, I always wait to give advice. I give people about 2 or 3 strikes of saying the same thing before I'm like, all right
now.
You usually say like, be like, do you want me to listen or do you want advice?
Right. That's another thing I do as well. Like sometimes like people talk or whatever, and I'm like, do you want me to respond to this, or are you just venting, or do you want me to give you advice?
Because people, I would say, because people you will be surprised that, and some people don't realize that is what they need. Is that a lot of times you don't need someone to respond. Sometimes you just need someone just to listen.
I am one of those people. I'm one of those people that's like, they're like, well, you know, like if I'm really like, man, I gotta figure all this stuff. Well, you know, don't tell me what I need to do because like
correct.
It's not gonna compute to me. It's gonna be more stuff because then I gotta study on what you're talking about, and I appreciate it. But 9 times out of 10, me talking will lock me in to figure out the issue.
Correct.
You know
Yeah, I gotta talk it out all the time. Like I'm a venter. There's so many times I've called you guys and like I'm just constantly talking, and I'm like, okay, good talk, goodbye.
Yep.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like that's me as well too. I'm definitely like a talker. Now I will say, the older I've gotten, the more I've become a little bit more, I guess I can say, like I understand, and I do process things a little bit differently. As far as when people, like how you say, like, you know, you don't respond, you know, up front or whatever, you let it digest. Me, I feel like for me, I don't necessarily say I will respond up front. I think I'm just a person that I'm not perfect by far, but I'm a good rationalizer. Like, despite whatever it is that you say and stuff like that, I'm good at like processing it, because I am a person, I would say that I'm a confronter. Like I don't mind having the uncomfortable conversations. Right. You know what I'm saying? I don't run away from them. If the elephant's in the room, let's address him. You know what I'm saying? Whether that's something with us or, you know, just an issue that you're dealing with and stuff like that. Because like me, I love to find a solution. I love trying to find a solution but sometimes though, me finding a solution reverts right back to what we said in the beginning. it means me just being quiet. Because literally sometimes you allow a person to vent. It's happened with me, with you. It's happened with you, with me. It's happened with us two on our walks. It's happened probably with y'all having regular conversations, or even just amongst each other, where we just let one of us talk, and next thing you know, the other two aren't saying anything, and the person comes to the conclusion on their own.
Right.
They just needed someone to verbally get that out to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but yeah, and I feel like another thing is too, this whole aesthetic thing. It's like everything's about an aesthetic now. You know what I'm saying? The only thing I don't care about when it comes down to aesthetic is when it's artsy. When it comes down to like your social, like, you know, Instagram or the way you dress, because that is a form of expression.
Right.
But when it comes down to incorporating other people into your quote unquote aesthetic, that's a problem for me. Because like now, am I casting your TV show, or am I actually a person that you genuinely want to have in your life?
Right.
Do I fit an aesthetic, or do I fit your purpose?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's just, I don't know. Like I genuinely try not to participate in spaces that I'm not genuinely welcomed in.
I don't really think about aesthetic when people are venting to me.
Right.
I don't know if it's because I'm anxious or whatnot, and I don't have patience. So when I'm saying stuff to people and they don't immediately give me a response when I ask for it, I freak out. So I think other people need that immediate response. And then, like you said, sometimes people need a response, sometimes people don't. But I'm like trying to, before I can digest it or process it, I'm automatically trying to think of what I'm going to say while I'm listening to them.
Right.
Because I like commentary, and like I don't want people to think I'm not listening. I don't know. It just makes me panic a little bit.
I think that goes into also too knowing, like me, Tim and I, we have sat in my place, I mean,
Umpteen amount of times.
And just had
Conversation.
deep conversations. I don't know how dark came from my
Dark, sick conversation.
But no, we have had like, I mean, deep biblical conversations, mental health conversations, you know what I'm saying, relationship conversations, all these conversations and things like that. But in those conversations, at the same time, I'm learning my boy. My boy is learning me. Zaria and I, we go walking, you know, 3-4 times.
5 miles every day.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But like on those walks, it don't feel like 5 miles because we are learning each other through our conversation. So I feel like the average person that will vent to you, especially like on a deeper level like that, that's a person that they kind of know you and they're comfortable with you. So it's all about learning that person too and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So you'll somewhat always know when to respond, or when this person just needs to vent, or this person do need you to respond, but they'll kind of let you know, like, okay, so what do you think about this, or how do you feel about that? So
I have one thing to say.
What's up?
What you saying, like someone being vulnerable, your vulnerability does not give you permission to be disrespectful.
Yeah.
That's when I will say, I don't care about no aesthetic.
Yeah.
I honestly don't care about an aesthetic when it comes to having a deep conversation.
Right.
But a lot of people have the misconception that if you're being vulnerable, that means that it's a safe space to just be disrespectful or be just not thoughtful of another person or who you're telling. I've said this before. When you're expressing and venting, it's fine if you're venting about a situation. But if you're telling your partner, your family member, anyone that you have a close relationship with, how you feel about that person, and you say something and you're doing it in a manner that is not thought-provoking of how you were going to tell them, and you just tell them in a way that's just kind of frivolous and disrespectful or whatever, here's the information, what they do with that information afterwards is your fault. Because you didn't take the time to give them that information correctly.
Are you talking about like people who are like too blunt or something?
Being blunt is one thing. If you come up to someone and you're being blunt, I think that's being is confused, because some people are like, "Oh, I'm just an honest person." That doesn't mean that you have to be rude.
Being honest and rude is blunt. Is two different things.
There's a fine line, right?
Yeah.
I always say like the difference is, it's funny, but it's just like the difference between creepy and charming is if you're attractive. There's a fine line.
It's
right?
a very fine line.
If you hear some of these old stories, like, man, yeah, he used to follow me home. He used to be outside with music. It's like, yeah, y'all are married for 20 years, so that's cute.
Right.
If you didn't like him, he'd
That
be
would
in
be
jail.
creepy.
Or have,
Right.
like, you know, like,
Correct.
that's creepy, bro. Like, but it's also can be depending on how it's received. And that's how communication works. So if you're vulnerable with a person and you're telling them, but you're just like, oh yeah, I just don't like the way you move because this is ugly, blah blah blah. Okay, so you don't. It's gonna always come off like, okay, so since you don't care, I ain't gonna care.
Yeah, and
I'm always gonna feel that way.
Yeah, and I always make it a point to let anyone know, whether we're dating, family, friends, whatever. The way and I'm gonna look at the camera when I say this, the way I love me and the way I have grown so much respect for me and the work I have done for me, there will never come across a time, if anything, it'll probably be when I have a child. But outside of me having a child, there will never be a person or a thing alive where I love you more than I love me. So that means that if I don't disrespect me, or I would not, handle me or talk to me that way, I'm for sure not gonna let you. I don't care what you got going on, because it's always a way. Because if you feel like you can't communicate yourself, whether you upset or not, maybe that's another thing that you need to be working on. Because like cussing at me, getting aggressive with me, all these kind of things, that's never gonna fly with me. I don't care what's going on. I don't care if it's the second coming of Christ. That's never gonna work for me. That's not gonna work for me. So yeah, like, and sometimes people just like being mean. Like that whole, again, back to that word aesthetic. This whole mean girl, mean boy, mean people trope thing or whatever. This whole I'm blunt, I don't give a F, all this kind of stuff. I don't know when this came about, but like, it's not cool.
People are in love with getting the last word.
That nonchalant stuff. It's just not, because people think it's cool not to have feelings. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care who you are, especially if you're my friend. How I always tell y'all how much I love y'all, how much you guys have like just been there for me. You know what I'm saying? You guys have healed parts of me that you'll never understand. But like, if Tim says something or do something, if Zaria says or do something to me that I don't like, I'm not gonna simply be like, I don't care. Anyway, move on. No, if these are my friends, these are the people I care about and love the most. Hey, Zaria, the other day when we was on our walk and you said so and so, it kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. Because guess what? A person can't correct what they don't know. Correct. Just like what you were just saying, how can you, I always use this example with relationships and stuff like that. When how like when people break up or they stop being friends and they just be like, well, remember we were friends, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, we were together, you didn't do this or do that or whatever. But my thing is, during that time we were good, I always ask, hey, how can I do this? How can I support you here? How can I do this? It's just like a job. If you don't supply me the tools to be successful, how can you expect me to be successful? So now that it's
the elephant in the room,
I can't address the elephant if I can't see it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I can never address it, and I can never fix those, those issues. I 100% agree. Yeah. I like that hot take, and I like your hot take.
Yeah.
Let's hope we like yours.
So JT, say your hot take one more time. Close this out, brother.
My hot take was, people say they want vulnerability, but get uncomfortable the second it is not an aesthetic. And that's my hot take.
Give the floor. We're waiting for JT to get off his phone again. I think
that's right.
what she's waiting for. She pulled a teacher on you.
I know that's
I'll
right.
wait.
Yeah.
And now, what you all have been waiting for, the hot take king himself. Tim, what is your hot take for volume 2?
So I've noticed this. First of all, let me say thank you. That was a great intro.
It was a good intro.
That was very, I feel like I was about to come out and wrestle.
Right. And I introduce you every week. And she just come in, just take up the thing.
Okay, so I will say that I have noticed, you know what? I'm not even going to give a disclaimer. People that watch true crime as an entertainment is a form of, is one of the most disgusting things you could probably be as a human being. I'm going to reiterate it. If you're watching true crimes as a form of entertainment, that is disgusting. If you are entertained by the mutilation, murder, and killing of innocent people regularly on top of that, you need to be talking to ChatGPT and the therapist. There's no way I have seen so many people clamor to the darkest, most horrible people to ever exist. We're talking about people that have killed children, sexually assaulted by living and dead things, done some of the most horrendous things, and we almost damn near worship them. I've seen people like send letters to these people. They surround their life. A lot of these people will go and run to the next Netflix special of someone that does not deserve any spotlight other than negativity. And a lot of them are dead. When you have people that are trying to do good in the world that get no recognition almost whatsoever, because I don't really know why. And we know the story. I think that's another thing. It's like, you know the story. Like, we know what happened to these people. Yes, it is a good form of like
awareness.
In a sense, it's a good form of awareness when it's like, oh man, like this guy was so messed up and wow. But also, I feel like it invites it to happen more. I feel like it does make it waters down the actual like disdain you should have for these people. Some of these people are murdering people by race. They're doing things to family members. They're not your family members. You may not know them, but this is reawakening traumatizing events for people that are trying to move forward. And you are getting together and watching it with popcorn, thinking this is like your Valentine. People have made these people their Valentines. Like, there's that's. I honestly feel like sometimes I hear it and I'm just like, what's wrong with you? Like, these people are murderers. They've eaten people. They've sexually assaulted people. They've done all of these things that you, as a human being, are so against for the common human being. What makes them so different? So, I'll open up the floor with that.
I dated someone who shall not be named. Ugh. No, they're not on the show. Or
oh, okay. I was about to say, all right. So we better.
Right, so first,
I was about to say, okay. So now, forget all this. Wrap that hot take up.
Forget the horse tranquilizer,
baby.
No.
How'd you make it out?
No.
She's on the show. You.
No. But I dated someone who was obsessed with Jeffrey Dahmer. Obsessed.
Excuse me.
Obsessed.
No, when I say this is super common, like it's.
I was like,
fan pages.
Are you okay? Like when they
clubs.
made the Netflix show or whatever, obviously I didn't watch it because I don't do that.
Yeah.
They were like so excited. Like they were like, we need to watch this. I'm like, this person is horrible. They're like, no, he's creative.
Brother.
That was called the folks right now on him. But I guess like for me, I can speak on it because like these two, they don't even watch scary movies. So
absolutely not.
Me, I will say I don't take pleasure in watching these things. Like I follow this one YouTube page called Coffee House Crimes, and I guess because like, you know, I'm not gonna say it's amazing in the sense of like a good amazing. It's more so just like it's almost like wow, like, you know, you watch stuff like Halloween with Michael Myers.
That's fictional though.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Issue with fiction.
No, it's just like you know, you got Friday the 13th and When a Stranger Calls, all these things, all these movies, but it's like, and I feel like that's what Scream was playing off of when they talk about like the scary movie tropes and all this kind of stuff. But even when it came down to the final act of Scream, where she realized it was her boyfriend and his best friend doing all these killings and stuff, it's almost just like it's amazing that outside of movies, this stuff actually happens.
Right.
But that's fictional. I have no issue with fiction. Yeah, like Freddy Krueger.
Okay, but where do you think they get their inspiration from?
It's
the real thing.
Right. Well, Freddy Krueger, the inspiration was the person that created Freddy Krueger was
Wes Craven.
Followed home by a homeless burned victim.
Oh my God.
He wasn't. It wasn't like that was he. And then the guy
that was his nightmare.
That was
hence
his
A Nightmare on Elm
Street.
Street.
He had that nightmare regularly. So it's a little different, but I think my big issue is, even if you're using it as a form of inspiration, I feel like and maybe I could be wrong, right? But it's fictional. I can get someone sitting down and saying, I want to make a suspenseful. I've watched war movies where, like, for instance, I watched Rambo. He done killed 100 people. He's a serial killer, low key.
Right.
I don't have an issue with that. It's not a real story. We're not putting this person on top of that
Now,
on the front page
Yeah.
of Netflix to make money off of this man's name that is
I
not
do
a
feel
good
I do
person.
feel like that's sick. I'm not gonna sit here and lie like I didn't. Me and all the people in my job, I think I started off watching it first, and I was just talking about it because like something like Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy, John Wayne Gacy, the Menendez brothers, all these serial killers and stuff. I feel like I've always heard tidbits about them, seen like Tubi quality movies about them and stuff like that, but when it's brought to the forefront and a movie is going into like grit detail about how these things, like me, I'm very interested in the human psyche. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm not afraid to say, I actually went to a convention where this psychologist, she studied each one of them. You know what I'm saying? Like their cases. And I want to say she actually worked alongside, like very close to the case of Jeffrey Dahmer and stuff like that. And it's more so just like, what is it about? It's almost just like, so what in another story, I know I'm getting off a subject here, but the girl Gypsy Rose,
No, that's not. That's I get
you know what I'm saying?
Because I was thinking of her.
Yeah. So I remember last year sometime, when I was on a previous podcast and stuff, they were saying that, one of the stories that we were covering was that Gypsy Rose is getting out of jail, and I was just like, who is that? And so it was like, she killed her mom, all this stuff, and I was just like, excuse me?
Right.
And so apparently they had like this show with what's the girl name with the pretty lips?
Joey King.
She played Gypsy Rose in the Hulu limited series, and so what's the name? Arquette. What's the girl?
David Arquette.
No. What's the lady that we like from Hoes?
Talking about.
Yeah, she played the mom on the show, and so when I watched it, it just got me interested. Like, okay, so how did this case go? Like, how did she fool all these people into thinking her daughter is all this stuff when there's literally nothing wrong with her child? So it's just like, I don't think I can only speak for me. But for me, I find it just like crazy how like these people sit up here like, promise, I just finished the show You and stuff. And he even said, going to your point at the beginning of your hot take, when at the end, spoiler alert, heads up, it's a spoiler alert, Joe ends up getting caught at the end of the show, and he has confessed to all the people he's killed. He's killed over the seasons, all this kind of stuff like that. And when he's in his jail cell, majority of the show, he don't have a lot of dialogue. It's more so we hearing his inner thoughts. Yeah. So at the end, he was seeing how you were saying, people glamorizing him. He was getting all these letters in the mail. People saying like, I want you to put me in the box. Keep in mind, that's where he killed most of his victims at. They were saying like, I want you to have sex with me. I want you to do all this stuff. And in his mind, he was just like, maybe I'm not the problem. Maybe it's you. And he closed it out with the title of the show. But he means like, bro, how is it that you've seen I've admitted to doing all these horrendous things, but you still glamorize me?
You have to ask yourself that question, because for instance, like before I even go any further, I love the show Dexter. I love the show Dexter. But one, I'm not regularly chasing a true crime series,
right?
Like I know it's regularly chased, because it's a genre. Like people love that, they watch it regularly. I can't remember the show, but there's a show that they just cover murders, right? And I find it very weird when you talk to let's say you talk to a woman and she's very like pro woman, we could say feminist or whatever, but the person that you literally fetishize is someone you would never want to sit next to. The same person you crucify online is the same person you're giving money to and think that is amazing. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just find it a little bit of a disconnect, Yeah. Because, like I said, I've watched him and been like, man, that's crazy, or dang, that's a good story. That was a lot of suspense because it was pitched in a certain way. But a lot of people don't have that disconnect to understand, like, okay, but this guy is completely horrendous. Like, this guy did stuff to John Wayne Gacy. I think he did stuff to kids.
Yeah, like, he'll lure boys in and and then kill them.
And there's people that have his poster in their house.
The guy from Nickelodeon, when they did the Quiet on Set documentary, he was friends with John Wayne Gacy.
He was pen pals with him. So it's like, these things are not like, people are putting these people on pedestals when it's like, bro, that's to me, that's a mental defect in your brain.
I agree.
I have no issue with a fictional character or, oh yeah, I watch it. But I know people that I've talked to.
Praise these people.
My job requires me to talk to people
all
day. So when I say it's a very common thing, like this is a moneymaker. Netflix make sure they put out
specifically
make sure they make another movie about a murderer because they know
specifically Ryan Murphy, because he's the one who did the Jeffrey Dahmer series, and then he did season 2, because now the series is called Monsters. Season 1 was Jeffrey Dahmer, season 2 was the Menendez brothers. I don't know who's gonna be on season 3 and 4 or whatever, but
I think there was a movie on Ted Bundy though.
Yeah, Zac Efron played him. Did it. Yeah, it's called Evil, Wicked, and Vile. Simply Vile or something like that. But I'm not gonna lie, Zac Efron ate that role up.
And that's another thing that's like, okay, it's entertaining to watch an actor do great in a role, right? So once again, my thing isn't about a person watching the film as much as it is like
a person
that indulges
praising
themselves, praises and then follows these people and like. It doesn't even have to be the extreme. I understand everybody has a different form of entertainment. People love horror films. People love gory films, slashers. I don't really have an issue with them. I don't watch them personally.
They're just not your thing.
It's just not my thing. But I have watched multiple animated stuff that's super gory.
Right.
But it's just I think it's the I'll be honest. It's just like it's to this point. It's like you're worshiping this guy.
Yeah.
And this guy is a horrible human being.
Yeah.
And then you'll like turn around and say like, oh, well, I don't believe in hitting women. It's like, dude, you're watching a guy that like ate women, killed women.
Yeah. Before you close it out, I do, to follow my statement earlier, I do follow this YouTube page called Coffee House Crimes. And again, like for me, it's not like, oh my God, they killing people, I just want to see and stuff like that. It's more so, I love the process of seeing how they actually get caught. I love seeing them. I love watching interrogations when they bring the person in. I love seeing the person play it cool, like, oh, I didn't kill him. Why would I kill him? You know what I'm saying? I wasn't there. But then it's amazing how that small room, it's almost like you can watch it closing in, even though it's theoretically it's closing in, but physically it's not. But the police, they're not doing nothing. You see the bad cop, good cop, and how they are just mentally screwing this person over. You know what? If you go ahead and tell me the truth, we're gonna let you out of here. We're just trying to get to the bottom so we can know what to do with get the autopsy. And this person will literally walk into the trap, and now you're doing, life. So I like seeing justice being had. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna sit here and lie like I haven't gone out there and looked at like autopsy photos.
But I will say in your case, and everybody has a case, granted, but you kind of come from a background of psychology, 1.
Correct.
But 2, you want to literally in the future be
a mortician.
3, you like horror films.
Yeah.
Is he a little crazy in my personal opinion? Yes. But
yeah.
Also, you have a background in it where I've known and I've talked to you, and I know you well enough to be like, okay, cool. Like, because you're not watching this and like, man, this is just like.
Because think about this, what's so crazy is
more of it is about survival. For you,
yeah.
I will say for JT, a lot of it he's watching and he's like, this will never be me. I'm going to watch it so I survive.
Literally,
I'm the final boy. I'm going to figure out.
I'm the final boy.
I'm not going to be the one that gets murdered.
I'm going to be the first one that sacrificed myself because I'm not running, and I can't have stress. I can't live like that.
But no, I feel like for me though, like, because I know people always give me that look like mortuary. You want to go?
You're a very energetic person too.
Exactly. So people would think. I mean, obviously, I want to do the acting, anything in entertainment. But I feel like, especially the older I've gotten, I've realized, and going to therapy and talking to God and stuff too, the way I love people and my intentions with people, I feel like it served more of a purpose than just being a friend or being a good son or a good boyfriend or whatever. I feel like my purpose is because I love people wholeheartedly. And so I feel like you have to have a heart like that to do more, because I've sat in on like different funerals and homes and stuff, because my grandmother, she was like that. You know what I'm saying? Like she goes to like different funerals, help them out with the families and all that. And it's amazing how much you learn about people's families and stuff just from a body center. You can learn a lot about a person with just by their body language, about based off how many people come and see them, what people say about them, how people react to them, all those kind of things. So I feel like for me, I love people and I love comforting people. So that's where my interest in mortuary and, you know, like the funeral business would come into play. However, I will say too, I don't think I would have any problem with embalming a body, because I've seen sessions, I've sat in on sessions with watching them embalm the body.
What's that mean?
Where they literally pull all the stuff out.
Okay, because I thought they was just blowing them up.
Shut up. And so, but also too, I've also seen it to where. But like I can sit through an embalming session. Zara can get a paper cut right now, and I'll probably pass out the moment I see blood.
Really?
I don't do blood.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I've had to do blood.
Well, you're a dad.
I'm a dad. I've had to.
Yeah.
Like, especially me, when I was a child, if I looked at my nose wrong, I would bleed. Okay.
Oh God.
I used to have nosebleeds so profusely as a child, and so now, like genetically, for some reason, my kids, like especially my middle child, gets nosebleeds. Like he sneezes.
Fun fact, to my understanding, I've never had a nosebleed.
I
I used to
either.
wake up nosebleed. So I mean, I'm talking about I wake up, turn on the lights. Oh, this
I would have
red.
passed out.
I was about to say I would pass out. Oh my god.
Somehow I was like, oh Lord, I'm dead. Like,
That sounds like a horror movie.
you look at I looked at my pillow, and it's probably because I just rubbed my nose and I started bleeding.
No.
Jesus.
So like when I have 3 kids, so like giving birth, like I'm in the room.
Right.
That's too much.
Dang.
Blood is gonna be in that mix. Any type of fluid you can think of is in that mix.
Right.
I'm getting sick.
This was a good.
I'm getting
this is a good hot
sick.
Well, I'm just saying, like life kind of demands it for me.
Right.
Also, my dad is diabetic, so he, you know, just he had to do dialysis. The dialysis is when you get hooked up to a machine,
Right.
and it's your kidney. That machine will be your kidney. It cleans your blood. So you sit there, and it takes all the blood out of you and cleans it and puts it back in you. And literally, I mean, it's one of the most draining things I've ever seen a person go through.
Wow.
So, like, I've technically been around blood my whole life. Not technically, I literally have. So I guess I'm a little bit more accustomed to it, where I can see someone bleeding, I'll be like, oh no. But like, if somebody got arm get cut off, I'm not gonna be like, man,
No,
I'm gonna lose. Like, oh,
Yeah.
But like,
as a teacher, a kid pulled out their tooth. I almost passed away. I forgot that teeth come out. And they're like, look, I literally almost fell out.
Oh.
I was like, go to the other teacher and get something. I can't look at that right now.
But no, man, that was an interesting hot take. I like that one.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Do you have anything to say about it?
It made me feel queasy. I'm like rainbow, butterflies, unicorns. It's not really my...
Not
No,
your-
I'm just saying, like my actual hot take of like.
I was getting PTSD. You guys, I had this roommate in college, and she would go to sleep to the ID channel.
A lot of people actually do that on the
What's
norm,
wrong with
though.
them?
Like,
Bro, I don't agree with it.
I always have nightmares.
I feel like
I can't do that.
Yeah. I used to go to sleep to NPR, if y'all know what NPR is. NPR is classical music. I
can't do classical. I can do jazz.
I will tell you
I
right now,
love
that is
jazz.
probably the most heightened my brain has ever been in my life. I
Oh, wow.
really should go back to it.
I sleep in silence.
Me.
I like a little white noise. Now turn the fan on or something.
Okay, a fan. No fan?
I need to. I mean, I want to pierce. Like, is this
You wanna
place?
hear that person break in just in case.
What you said, but no.
Oh, gosh.
Trying to be a final boy. You need to hear that click. Who at the door? Like,
I'm trying to
that's
tell them,
JayTee,
boy.
literally.
Oh, God.
But no, like just before you wrap this up and stuff, because run over. But it's this challenge. I forget where it is. And I want to try it so bad because you win like $10,000 or $15,000. You have to sit in this silent room.
I saw
for
that.
like I want to say it's like 10 hours or something like that.
And it's dark.
No, I
You
seen
didn't
this
see
had a
that?
light. I can't do no dark now.
It
I
was
need to
dark
see.
and silent, the one I
No,
saw.
the one I saw, it was literally nothing. But like they said, you can bring like a book and something to drink and something to eat. But like they said, it has to be something like gummy bears or something that requires no noise or whatever. But I said I think I probably could
You
win.
can't sleep.
I don't know. I ain't really.
There has to be a rule of no sleep, because if there was like you can sleep for, I would just do about 8 hours of sleep, wake up and be silent for 2 hours. I can do that.
Got you.
But
dang.
I don't think a lot of people, no one really like a lot of people don't understand certain things of that nature.
Yeah.
I know we're going over, but a lot of people don't understand like how if you're in complete silence, you're actually never accustomed to complete silence.
Yeah.
They have a room where it's like true silence. I think you can only be in that room for like 15 minutes.
I was gonna say
People
people
panic.
start going insane.
Yeah, you'll start losing because it's like they have foam in there where it's like there's really no noise. The only thing it's so silent. The only thing you can hear is your
Your
heart.
heart.
It's that silent because you're never accustomed. Like right now, we're hearing AC or there's something running. Right, even electricity, you don't really notice like
Because
lights,
you become so accustomed.
right. Lights make noise. Like all things make noise. So
Yeah.
it's kind of
But yeah.
well.
Wrap your hot take up, brother.
So yeah, my hot take is if you find true crime as entertainment, there is probably something sick and disgusting going on with you. That is my hot take for the hot takeover part.
Guys, this was fun. This was I feel like this definitely upped the ante from volume 1 for sure. This was not even supposed to be volumes. That was supposed to
be a one-time.
That was supposed to be a one. Oh, all right.
They like
that was
so
supposed to be a
much.
hit it and quit it,
Bro.
but we
We
spent the block.
We're gonna keep it running.
Oh yeah, y'all got a lot of more volumes coming, and they're always gonna come at random because we want to get you guys too used to it because they weren't expecting it for this episode.
Yeah.
So we're just dropping it. You know what I'm saying?
It during the month of guests.
It's perfect because I mean, bro, who else better than Zaria to have on there with it? I mean, let's be for real.
stop.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, guys. But before we get out of here, guys, it's time for my favorite segment, and my favorite segment is "What's Your Jam?" Where we're talking about what we're bumping to for the week. You guys already know the rules. So T, kick us off. What you bumping to for the week?
Man, I've been in I have a playlist now called Bounce because I just like certain.
Like bounce music.
I don't know how to explain
Like
it.
no lie.
Yeah, so I've been listening to like "Breathe Deeper" by Tame Impala.
Oh, okay.
I've been listening to I think it's called "Be Your Girl" by K Tronada. I don't know why.
I love that song.
Intimidated by K Tronada as well.
That's on my
And then,
Warm playlist.
There's another song by it's another song by Thundercat.
You love Thundercat.
You know I do.
Funny
You're
thing about Thundercat, I love that song too. So yeah, I've been in a bounce mood. I don't know why, but that's my jams right now.
Okay, what about you, Z?
I just now rediscovered the Brat album by Charlie XCX. I know I'm late. Don't
That's the
crucify
green
me.
cover with the black
Yes.
logo.
Don't
I'm
crucify
familiar.
me. I'm so late. After Coachella,
That's
and,
a very
seeing
underappreciated
her
album.
perform live, I've dove into it. So the song Sympathy is a Knife by Charlie XCX featuring Ariana Grande. Oh my God, it is so good. You guys need to play it. Especially talking about like it's a knife when you're on the come up and then everybody is like praying for your downfall. It's such a good song. Like she just relates to me right now because
Yeah.
constantly evolving.
It's enough.
It's a knife. Oh my. All right, 21.
Oh, sorry. It's been a while since I said that.
That is like,
Bro.
when did that pop
That
up?
was like 2012, 2011. I feel like.
That's not that old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
21 Savage been out for a minute.
For a
People
good
don't
I
minute.
think that was
realize.
like 2016.
Oof.
I don't think so.
Y'all do the research.
21 Savage was out when I was in high school.
Yeah.
You were in high school in 2011?
Yeah. I graduated 2013.
Sheesh.
Freddie Wap
I
was
graduated.
running
I
it.
graduated 2011.
I was in 5th grade.
Young Savage, why you trapping so hard?
Oh Lord.
That didn't
was-
come out in 2012.
I'm pretty sure it did. 'Cause
We'll do the
can pull
research.
up.
We're
We'll
gonna
do
look
the
it up.
research
We're
later.
gonna do the research. What is
Yeah.
your jam, JT?
It's funny that you said Thundercat because it's Thundercat. I'm sorry, bro.
Yes,
Listen, I
sir.
love and I have missed him every time he's come to Atlanta. So now I'm just stalking him. So whenever he comes to Atlanta, bro, I have to be there because my favorite song by him, it wasn't I Love Dragon Ball Durag, but under that is this song he has, and the first time I heard it was on my favorite show, Insecure. It's a song called Heartbreaks and Setbacks.
I knew it. I knew you were gonna say that song. Yo, check his highlights or like his Instagram posts. He love posting a cute little selfie in the mirror and then putting that as his song.
Heartbreaks, setbacks, breakups,
That's
makeups.
his favorite.
Because like I don't know, it's just I think about me in my car. It's not fall, but summer is coming to an end. The wind is blowing. I'm reminiscing about different like relationships as far as friends, emotional, just all these things. It's just such a short, straight to the point song, but it's just yeah.
Convertible too.
Yeah, I had one before I had this car. Before I had my Challenger, I had a convertible. But yeah, man, Thundercat, he's really that guy. And I don't know, like a lot of his music, I really had to get some of his albums on vinyl. But yeah, that Heartbreak Setback. But yeah, guys, that was the Hot Take Takeover, man. This was fun, man. I'm glad you was back. I always love having you back.
Happy to be
I
here.
love having
Always,
you here.
always.
But guys, make sure you guys stay tuned because next week we're going to continue the month of guests and we're going to be doing Final Destination, the first one. So make sure you guys tune in for that. And you guys got any closing remarks?
I just love the love that you guys give me.
They love you.
I love you guys too, okay? It makes me want to be here because if y'all are hating on me, you would never see me.
Oh, man.
I would just be behind the camera.
They'd be like, boo, this girl stinks.
I'd be like, and that was my final closing right there.
What about you two?
Man, I just appreciate it. I appreciate the support. You are one of the OGs in supporting the podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the OGs.
Getting Zaria to come on the show was as easy as dipping an Oreo into milk.
Yeah, I remember first time I met Zaria, I was like, she cool. JT met her, she cool.
And then by this, Tim wanted Zaria to meet me so that we could be cool, but I ended up meeting Zaria on my own. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, it was just her voice alone. I was just like, and her energy too. I was just like,
she sound like Joy from Inside Out.
She does. So I was just like, bro,
God.
I said Zaria would be perfect for the pod. And so I invited her on. We let it settle. We let it breathe for a little while. And obviously for our
Grinch
day one listeners, she was on for our Grinch episode, kicking off our Christmas season. And dang, we about to be going into Christmas before we know it again.
Yeah,
and
you've been what? This is like your 6th time on the show.
I can't even keep up.
The Grinch,
Cheetah Girls,
Hot Take Takeover,
Poetic
Justice, a Goofy Movie,
and Hot Take Takeover Part 2.
Yeah, so
I was right. This is our 6th time on.
Yeah, friend of the pod.
Keep it up.
Friend of the pod, baby. This is my little sister though. I love her bad, boy. That's my baby. That's my baby girl there.
Whenever we say we gonna have Zaria, JT's like, Zaria coming on the pod. I'm like, yo, we good.
we straight. One thing about we got worried about Zaria. She gonna show up. She gonna have that note in hand. She ready. You know what I'm saying? But
even when I'm on my deathbed,
yeah,
I will be here.
Because she's actually not feeling her best at all.
I actually
right
have a fever.
But
you would have never known that.
This light over here, white. It's just that the heat.
It's an insider, guys. But guys, thank you so much for tuning into this episode, guys. We guys hope you enjoyed the Hot Take Takeover. And of course, like I said, we'll be back next week. Thank you for supporting us. And until next week, we're out. Peace.
Our podcast comes out every Thursday. Make sure you hit that follow button so that you never miss an episode. This has been the Hear Me Out podcast with Tim and JT. Available everywhere you listen to podcasts.